My friends, let us begin with the first and most powerful truth of all, the power of self-belief. For belief in oneself is the seed from which every achievement springs, the spark that ignites the fire of ambition, the force that makes men and women rise above mediocrity and take command of their destinies. Yet few understand the invisible energy that radiates from a mind anchored in conviction. They think belief is merely a thought, a private confidence, a quiet assurance that rests in the heart. No, it is more than that. It is a current of vibration, a magnetic field that cannot be hidden. It flows through your words, your eyes, your very posture. It declares to the world, "Here stands one who knows." Now consider this: when you step into a room filled with people, before you utter a single word, before you shake a hand or speak your name, your aura has already spoken for you. If your belief in yourself is weak, if you are uncertain, if doubt gnaws at your spirit, others sense it instantly. They may not articulate it, but they feel it. They dismiss you as ordinary, for you have given them no reason to think otherwise. But when you possess absolute faith in your ability, when you carry the calm, steady assurance of a man or woman who knows where they are going, then others are stirred in ways they themselves cannot explain. Some will be drawn to you, eager to stand in the glow of your certainty. Others will feel uneasy, even intimidated, because your presence reminds them of their own insecurities. You see, self-belief is not a loud boast. It does not strut or shout. True self-belief is quiet power, steady like the beating of a drum, unwavering like the march of time. And that quiet power unsettles the weak-minded, because it exposes the flimsy foundation of their own thinking. That is why people may hesitate in your presence, why they may fall silent when you speak, why they sometimes retreat when you advance. They feel your inner power, though they cannot name it. But here lies the tragedy. Too many men and women are ashamed of this power. They shrink from it. They water it down so others will not feel uncomfortable. They disguise their confidence so as not to appear arrogant. They apologize for their own strength, and in doing so they betray themselves. I tell you now, never apologize for belief in yourself. Never dim the light of your certainty to comfort the doubts of others, for belief is not arrogance. It is the natural state of a mind that has recognized its own power and accepted responsibility for its destiny. Let me give you an image to hold in your mind. Picture a great lion walking through the wilderness. The lion does not roar constantly to prove its strength. It does not need to. Its very presence commands respect. Other animals scatter, not because the lion makes threats, but because it radiates power in every step. Such is the man or woman of unshakable belief. They need not prove themselves with noise or display. Their conviction is evident, and the world responds. Now I ask you to reflect. How strong is your belief in yourself? Do you move through life with the confidence of the lion, or do you wait for others to grant you permission to believe? Do you measure your worth by the applause of the crowd, or do you carry within you the calm assurance that you are capable of achieving whatever you decide upon? The answer to these questions reveals the condition of your aura. I have seen men of average talent rise to greatness because they carried themselves with unwavering faith. I have also seen men of immense talent stumble into obscurity because they doubted themselves at every turn. The difference is not education, not opportunity, not even luck. The difference is belief, for belief transforms weakness into strength, poverty into wealth, obscurity into influence. When you believe, you release energy that attracts opportunity, allies, and resources. And when you doubt, you repel them. Do not think for a moment that belief is something you can fake. You cannot deceive the world with shallow words or empty gestures. You may fool a man's mind for a moment, but you cannot fool his instincts. People feel belief. They sense it in ways they cannot explain. It is in your tone of voice, your handshake, the look in your eyes. You cannot pretend belief, you must possess it. And the only way to possess it is to discipline your thoughts until belief becomes your natural state. This is why the weak-minded are unsettled in your presence. Your belief exposes their lack of it. Your aura whispers truths they have tried to ignore. Your strength reminds them of their weakness. Your confidence reveals their hesitation. Your certainty highlights their confusion. They are not angry with you, they are troubled by themselves. But rather than face their own inadequacy, they project that discomfort onto you. And so they say, he is too proud, she is too intimidating. What they truly mean is, I have not yet found within myself what I see in you. So do not mistake their fear for your fault. Do not let their discomfort persuade you to dim your own light. Stand firm in your belief, for it is the foundation upon which everything else rests. Without belief, purpose crumbles. Without belief, discipline falters. Without belief, vision fades into fantasy. But with belief, even the impossible bends to your will. You may ask, how then do I cultivate such belief? Begin by choosing your thoughts with care, for thoughts are the architects of belief. Reject the whisper of doubt and replace it with the declaration of certainty. Remind yourself daily that you are capable, that you are destined, that you are equipped to succeed. Surround yourself with evidence of progress, however small, and let each victory strengthen your conviction. And most importantly, act, for belief grows stronger with every decisive step you take. Action reinforces belief, and belief inspires further action until they become an unbreakable cycle. In time, your aura will transform. People will feel yourself, belief before you speak. They will either be inspired to rise or they will retreat into their fear. But either way, you will know that you have mastered the first great law of influence. And remember, the world does not reward the doubter, it rewards the believer. If your aura unsettles others because of your self-belief, let it be so. For their fear is not your burden, it is their invitation to grow. Let us move deeper into this matter, for there is another truth that demands your attention. It is the truth of purpose. Nothing in this world commands greater respect, nor generates a stronger aura, than a man or woman who has discovered a definite purpose and resolved to live by it. You have seen such a person before. Perhaps you could not explain it at the time, but you felt it. They entered the room, and without a word they changed its atmosphere. Conversations softened, heads turned, and even the restless grew quiet. That is the aura of purpose. Understand this, most people drift. They wake without direction, they move without aim, they speak without intention. They live as though life were an accident, as though the wind could carry them to destiny. Such people are restless, always searching, never certain. They envy those who seem rooted, those who carry a weight greater than themselves. For when you meet a man or woman of purpose, you are meeting someone who has stepped out of the fog and onto solid ground. They no longer wander, they march. They no longer hope vaguely, they decide firmly, and that decision radiates through them so strongly that others feel it without being told. When your purpose is definite, you cannot be ignored. People may admire you, they may resist you, they may fear you, but they cannot dismiss you. Purpose has a gravity all its own. It pulls attention, it pulls respect, it pulls opportunity, but it also unsettles. For when the purposeless meet the purposeful, they are forced to face their own lack of direction. They feel the silent accusation, "Why do you not know where you are going?" And because they do not like the answer, they shrink back. Think of the great builders, the leaders, the pioneers of every age. They did not need to beg for attention, nor to shout for recognition. Their very presence spoke louder than any advertisement. Why? Because they carried within themselves the unshakable knowledge of where they were going and why. That knowledge, when fixed in the mind and fused with emotion, projects itself outward in the form of an aura. People sense it whether they admit it or not. It is why the weak will say of such men and women, there is something about them, though they cannot put it into words. But here is where many stumble. They confuse busyness with purpose. They run frantically, filling their days with activity, but they are like ships without a rudder, always moving, never arriving. Purpose is not motion. Purpose is direction. It is not doing many things. It is knowing the one thing for which you will do everything. And once you discover it, once you write it upon the tablets of your mind and refuse to erase it, you become unstoppable. That is when your aura takes on a new intensity. People may resist your ideas, they may criticize your plans, but deep down they will respect you, for they know you cannot be swayed. Let me tell you something you must never forget. The world respects firmness. The world yields to the man or woman who knows where they are going and demands that destiny yield to them. Indecision is weakness, and it seeps into your aura like poison. But decision, clear, bold, unwavering decision, shines from you like a beacon. It draws the strong to your side, and it sends the wavering into retreat. This is why your aura can silence a room, for decision and purpose are rare, and rarity is always felt. Now ask yourself, have you chosen your purpose, or are you drifting? Have you declared to yourself and to life itself the one thing you will accomplish regardless of cost, regardless of time, regardless of difficulty? If you have not, then your aura is faint, diluted, scattered, but the moment you decide, truly decide, it will sharpen. It will grow dense, heavy, undeniable. People will notice even before you tell them. They will feel it in your conversation, in your movements, in your gaze. And many will not know how to respond, for they are unused to such certainty. Some will move away, others will draw near. Both responses are evidence of the same truth, that your aura has changed. Do not allow the reaction of others to disturb you. Remember, when you fix your purpose, you no longer live for applause. You live for fulfillment. You no longer drift with the tides of opinion. You sail by the compass of destiny. Those who cannot match your conviction will be unsettled. Let them be unsettled. Your responsibility is not to shrink so they may feel comfortable. Your responsibility is to grow so large in purpose that you light the way for those who are ready to rise. Purpose does not require noise. It does not beg for recognition. It speaks in silence, and its silence carries more weight than the loudest cry of uncertainty. That is why a room falls quiet in the presence of a man or woman who has discovered theirs. That is why even the most talkative will falter in their words when confronted by the gaze of the purposeful. They feel the difference. They know, even if they do not understand, that they are standing in the company of someone who cannot be moved by trivialities. And let me give you this warning: once you discover your purpose, protect it. Do not allow it to be diluted by aimless associations. The drifting will always try to tether themselves to the purposeful, not to rise, but to keep them from advancing too far. They will say, "Why take it so seriously? Why not relax, slow down, drift with us?" Resist them. For if you let them, they will drain your conviction until your aura weakens, and you become like them, directionless, restless, powerless. Better to walk alone with purpose than to wander with a crowd in confusion. I tell you this with certainty. Purpose transforms an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. It gives you strength when you are tired, courage when you are afraid, persistence when you are tested. And more than all this, it gives you presence. It makes you felt. You will never again enter a room unnoticed, for your purpose will go before you, announcing itself in ways no words can match. If your aura silences others, if it unsettles or intimidates, rejoice. It means you have found direction in a world that is lost. It means you have discovered what few ever do, the magnetic force of purpose. Let us go deeper still, for there is another truth you must grasp if you are to understand why your aura unsettles others. It is the discipline of thought. Every man and woman lives within two worlds, the world of circumstances outside of them, and the world of thought within them. And it is the inner world, the unseen domain of thought, that governs the outer. Yet most men allow their thoughts to run wild, like untamed horses that pull them in 1,000 directions, and then they wonder why their lives are full of confusion, weakness, and contradiction. They do not see that their aura is but a reflection of their inner thinking. If your thoughts are weak, scattered, and fearful, your aura will betray you. It will carry that weakness outward for others to feel, even before you open your mouth. People sense uncertainty long before it is spoken. They may not analyze it, but they feel it. And if instead your thoughts are disciplined, steady, and strong, your aura carries that strength as a shield. Others sense this too, and they respond with hesitation, respect, or even fear, because they know instinctively they cannot easily penetrate your mind. Consider this carefully. A man who cannot control his thoughts cannot control his destiny. For thoughts are seeds, and whatever seed you allow to grow in the garden of your mind will bear fruit in your character, your conduct, and your aura. If the seed is doubt, it will grow into hesitation, and your aura will project hesitation. If the seed is resentment, it will grow into bitterness, and your aura will project bitterness. If the seed is fear, it will grow into paralysis, and your aura will project paralysis. But if the seed is discipline, if you decide to govern your mind with deliberate choice, then you will grow strength, focus, and certainty, and your aura will become a fortress none can breach. Understand, this is not merely theory, it is law. I have seen men of small beginnings rise to greatness, not because of luck or circumstance, but because they disciplined their minds to hold only those thoughts that served their vision. Their aura grew so powerful that others could not deny it. People felt it when they entered the room, and though some were drawn and others withdrew, none could ignore them. I have also seen men of brilliant intellect fail, because they indulged every thought that came to them. Fear one moment, ambition the next, doubt the moment after. Their aura was chaotic, unstable, unconvincing, and the world reflected that back to them. Let me tell you, discipline of thought is not easy, but it is necessary. Most people do not even attempt it. They allow the news, gossip, and chatter of the crowd to plant whatever seeds happen to fall. They live with a mind like an open field, overrun by weeds, wondering why their aura repels opportunities instead of attracting them. They do not realize that every thought is a vibration, and every vibration extends outward. You cannot hide it. You may speak words of confidence, but if your mind is filled with doubt, your aura will give you away. You may pretend at friendliness, but if your mind is poisoned with envy, your aura will betray you. You cannot escape the discipline of thought, for whether you choose to govern it or not, it will write itself upon your presence. This is why the disciplined man unnerves others. His aura is solid, impenetrable, like a wall of granite. The drifting man looks at him and feels suddenly exposed, for his own mind is scattered, his thoughts fragile, his convictions hollow. He cannot understand why he feels uneasy, but he does. It is the collision of two minds, one that has mastered itself and one that has not. And always the undisciplined is unsettled in the presence of the disciplined. Think of a soldier standing at attention. His posture, his gaze, his silence, all convey discipline. Now imagine that discipline multiplied inwardly into the very thoughts he permits to live in his mind. Such a man is unstoppable. He cannot be bribed with flattery, distracted with trivialities, or shaken by setbacks. His aura radiates certainty, and those who meet him feel it immediately. Some will be inspired, others will be afraid. But none will be indifferent. Now let us speak practically. How does one discipline thought? The first step is awareness. You must learn to observe the stream of thoughts passing through your mind and separate them into two categories: those that serve your purpose and those that do not. Every thought belongs to one or the other. If it weakens you, discard it. If it strengthens you, embrace it. This is not done once, but daily, hourly, even moment by moment. You become the gatekeeper of your own mind, allowing only those ideas that build you and rejecting those that would weaken you. The second step is repetition. Thoughts grow stronger by the power of repetition. If you dwell on fear daily, you build a habit of fear. If you dwell on strength daily, you build a habit of strength. Therefore, choose affirmations, ideas, and visions that reinforce your purpose, and rehearse them until they are etched into the very fabric of your mind. In time, your aura will reflect them, for they will have become the dominant vibration of your being. The third step is action, for thought without action is weak, but thought joined with action becomes conviction. Every time you act in harmony with your disciplined thoughts, you strengthen them, and every time you fail to act, you weaken them. Thus, discipline of thought is not simply mental, it is lived. Each choice you make either fortifies your aura or erodes it. Never forget, people cannot see your thoughts, but they can feel them. Your aura is the broadcast of your inner world. When it is disciplined, it radiates power. When it is chaotic, it radiates confusion, and others will respond accordingly, even if they do not know why. This is why men and women of disciplined thought often find themselves standing apart. Some admire them, some resent them, but all acknowledge, even in silence, that they are different. So, if your aura intimidates, let it be so. Better to inspire fear in the undisciplined than to weaken yourself for their comfort. Better to be strong and unshakable than to be diluted and ignored. For the world bows not to the wandering mind, but to the mind that has mastered itself. We have spoken of belief, of purpose, of the discipline of thought, and now we must arrive at the final truth that explains why your aura carries such weight upon those around you. It is the aura of vision. Nothing unsettles people more than to stand in the presence of a man or woman who sees beyond the present moment, who looks past the immediate and into the possible. Vision is fire in the mind, and when that fire burns, it cannot be hidden. It glows in your eyes, it sharpens your words, it vibrates in your very presence. And though some are drawn to it as though to a light in the darkness, others shrink away, for vision demands of them what they are not yet willing to give. Think for a moment of the difference between one who lives only in the present and one who lives already in the future they have imagined. The first is comfortable, ordinary, predictable. The second carries with them an unease, for they are not bound by what is, but by what will be. They speak of things not yet built as if they already exist. They walk as though roads are laid before they are paved. Their conviction carries such certainty that others do not know whether to call them dreamers or prophets. And it is this uncertainty that unsettles people, because deep inside they realize they are standing before someone who has touched a truth larger than themselves. Vision, when it grips you, alters everything. It changes how you speak, for you no longer talk about trivialities. You speak of direction, of progress, of destiny. It changes how you act, for you are no longer content to merely exist. You begin to move with intention. And it changes how others respond to you, for when they look into your eyes, they see not just the reflection of themselves, but the reflection of a future you already believe in. Some cannot handle that reflection. It frightens them because it reveals how small their own thinking has been. And yet, vision is not arrogance, it is not boastfulness. True vision is simply clarity. It is the ability to see further than most, to believe in what is not yet visible, and to dedicate yourself to bringing it forth. That clarity, when genuine, radiates outward, It cannot be faked, for people will sense the difference between mere fantasy and true vision. Fantasy is wishful, unstable, weak. Vision is firm, commanding, persuasive. It lives not only in words but in demeanor, and the one who possesses it will naturally inspire some, intimidate others, and disturb many. Let me remind you, all great builders, inventors, leaders, and creators of history were at first dismissed, doubted, and resisted, not because their ideas were weak, but because their vision was strong. The crowd always fears what it does not yet understand. And so the man of vision is often called dangerous, arrogant, or unrealistic. Yet in time the very world that mocked him follows in his footsteps. Why? Because vision always wins. Reality bends to the one who sees it before others do. Your aura, when ignited by vision, becomes a flame. It can warm those who are ready for its light, but it can also burn those who cling to darkness. That is why you may find people uneasy in your presence. They are not merely reacting to you, they are reacting to the future they glimpse through you. Your aura becomes a mirror showing them what they could be but are not yet willing to become. Some will flee from that mirror, for it demands too much. Others will step closer because they crave the light. In both cases, your task is not to dim yourself to suit them, but to remain faithful to the vision that burns inside you. Do not be surprised when vision isolates you. The higher you climb, the fewer companions you will find along the path. The mountain peak is not crowded, but it commands the widest view. So it is with vision. Most prefer the valley, where they can remain comfortable, unnoticed, and ordinary. Few dare to climb, and when they see you ascending, they may call out to you with warnings, ridicule, or doubt. But remember, their words come from fear, not from wisdom. Only the one who climbs can understand the view from above. So guard your vision, protect it as you would protect a flame in the wind. Feed it with discipline, with purpose, with belief, and let it grow until it fills you so completely that it becomes inseparable from your being. In time, you will not even need to speak of it, for people will sense it in your silence. They will feel it in your presence. They will know, even without words, that they are standing before someone who sees what others cannot. Do not mistake their fear for a signal to retreat. Do not let their hesitation persuade you to compromise your future. If they step back, let them. If they question, let them. If they doubt, let them. For the world has always doubted the visionary until the vision became undeniable. And when it does, the same voices that once criticized will now praise. But the true reward is not their praise. It is the fulfillment of the vision itself. You must decide, then, whether you will be ordinary or extraordinary. Ordinary men live only in the present, limited by what they see. Extraordinary men live in the future, guided by what they believe. Ordinary men bend to circumstances. Extraordinary men bend circumstances to their vision, and the difference is written unmistakably in their aura. So if people say you make them uneasy, if they confess they cannot quite look you in the eye, if they fall silent when you speak of your future, know this. It is because your vision has pierced them. It has awakened in them the uncomfortable realization that life could be more, that they could be more, and that you are already becoming it. That is not your burden to carry. It is their invitation to grow. And so, my friends, let your aura blaze with vision. Let it unsettle, let it inspire, let it disturb, let it ignite. For the world remembers not those who lived only for the present moment, but those who saw further than their generation, and carried within themselves a fire so great that others could not stand in its presence without being changed.